Good morning. It's Jonathan Tacadena here for MPC Markets Morning Report. I'm recording on the 4th of January, which is the Sunday, and this will be released on the Monday morning, 5th of January. So Happy New Year to everyone. This is our first morning report of the year. And of course, what a way to get started. So obviously the big news over the weekend is that USA has captured Madura. And is now taking control of Venezuela. So more to come on that later, but that has been the big piece of news since the markets closed on our Saturday morning. So here I am. I'll just run through the basic numbers on what's happened. Just in general, over the last 2 weeks, pretty much equities have been sideways, drifting higher into sort of resistance levels. But most of the action has actually been in precious metals, and I'll get onto that soon. So here we have a chart of the XJO. As you can see, pretty much been flat for all of December, hanging around that sort of 8,600 level, which is that level around here. We did have that sort of like a 3-day rally into Christmas, and then now it's back around that 8,700 level. That first day of trading, it sort of just found a little bit of a bid, and it's hovering around that 8,700 level on the XJO. S&P now, S&P, you can see it's actually looks like it's testing lows here and rolling over, not looking as convincing. Thing is though, every time it's done that over the last, say, 3-4 months, anytime it gets near that sort of moving average, it does find a bid, and then bang, 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 off to new highs. So maybe we'll see that again as well. But if you're having a look, the Nasdaq not looking as positive. So what's happened is, while the S&P continues to grind and continue to make highs, the Nasdaq looks like it's kind of topping out here and rolling over. And you can see it's definitely hugging that 50-day moving average a little bit more tightly than the S&P. So interesting. And if you have a look at some of the stalwarts, Apple. Here's a chart of Apple. A bit of a reversal there, hugging that 50-day moving average, so not looking as convincing. And having a look at Tesla, it actually had a bit of a down move on the Friday, so now it's below that 50-day moving average. Let's see if the technicians come in and start selling that stock. So now the main bit of news over the last couple of weeks has been the moves in precious metals. Now here's a chart of gold, so obviously that's the one that I've been sharing on. As you can see, over the last sort of 2 weeks, it did break out to new highs just before Christmas, did reach a crescendo. The actual high was on the 29th of December, which was a very short trading day. And on that small session, it actually hit a new high, but then got battered back down to that 4,300 level. And then if you have a look at silver, that's the one that's gone parabolic. So it was actually on a tear all the way up until pretty much Christmas Eve. And then as soon as it traded after that sort of Christmas period, it did bust out to a new high. And then even on the Monday, on the 29th, it gapped up to a new high above 80, and then got sold off brutally after that. So I believe that move was roughly about a 15% move in that one day. So quite volatile, and it still remains to be seen whether the bulls or the bears have control of this commodity. It's kind of led the whole precious metals complex, and in my mind, I'm using 69 as kind of like my stop on the spot level here. If it breaks through that and sustains a few days below that, I'll probably just stop out of my longs. But we're well in the money on these positions, so what I'd rather do is kind of just give it a chance to prove to itself that the market's really topped out and falling over, and 69 is my level on that commodity there. So if you have a look at the silver miners, a bit of a down move on the Friday, so but interesting move there on the silver miners, gold miners as well. Bit of a poke lower during the day, but as you can see, bit of a buy into the close as well. So pretty thin markets at the moment, but for my interpretation, it looks like gold and silver are well above their moving averages. So I would say the momentum's towards the top side. But I'm happy to just start tidying up the stops on a lot of positions and looking to, basically, if it does sweep and makes a new lower low on the daily, happy to move out and then buy back in at lower prices. So that's my interpretation of the markets at the moment. Now, most interestingly, so since the news came out, Bitcoin's actually starting to look good here. So Bitcoin has been stuck under the 90 level for pretty much all of December. But then now with the news that USA has taken control of Venezuela, Bitcoin's actually above 91 now here on the Sunday, and even Ethereum looking, look at that, it's just above that 50-day moving average and right above that 3100 level. So I'm not too sure if that's a signal of a store of value or a store of risk on, because it's been very, very hard to gather, which way crypto is trading at the moment, because obviously you've got the two opposing views there. That one, that Bitcoin and some of the major cryptos are a store of value, hard money, kind of philosophy, but they definitely have not, been trading like Nasdaq stocks, which have pretty much continued to climb high into there. So with that, one thing that I would like to talk about the USA Venezuela situation is this. Bang. So basically the whole reason, I mean, like, if you get past the actual what they say in the press, is that it's all about energy. So if you have a look at USA, how much electricity they produce, it's actually been flatlining. But if you look at China, it's, from all points and sources, it's actually generating twice as much electricity as the USA now. And their grid has been pretty much future-proofed as well, whereas the USA grid's so much more vulnerable at this stage. So the way I see it, or the way I'm interpreting it, is like, when Trump talked about, taking control of Greenland, he wanted the natural resources here. Venezuela, with their large swathes of oil, I think they have the largest oil reserves in the world at the moment. They've got plenty of gold. You've got a massive lithium belt in South America. So if you just go past the rhetoric where they're trying to free the country, my question is, would they try and free the country if they weren't sitting on a lot of oil? And up to you to interpret their actions there. But if you look at that actual situation through the lens of energy and future production of energy and how to actually shore up your supply chains, it makes total sense on why the USA is actually in Venezuela. And they've actually been doing it for months and months. It's not a surprise. It's just that basically now that there's actually been action, it's starting to hit the headlines and mainstream news. So with that, that is the morning report for Monday, the 5th of January. One thing I would like to leave on is actually one of the recommendations that we made about a couple of weeks ago was CZR at 40. I was saying buy it up to 42 cents. It actually broke out and in trading it closed at 47.5. Now they do have assays due out sometime in January, and they're sitting on a lot of cash. So it's one of those positions where if you had got in at the right time, fairly low risk entry. And if you actually do want to get those trade recommendations real time, just sign up to a free trial of Mosaic and we'll put you on our email mailing list. So with that, I'll leave it at that. Obviously, that the Venezuelan news was the big news over the weekend. How the markets react to that, how the markets interpret the geopolitical stance now, it remains to be seen. From what I've seen in the weekend markets, it looks like it's gone into a slight risk-off mode. But the thing is, this operation that had actually been months, had been telegraphed for months and months in a row. It's not like those US warships were in the Gulf of Mexico just the last week. They've actually been in there for quite some time, and it's been quite well telegraphed, and that's why the market hasn't, really freaked out or made some panic moves about this. But it looks like for mine, with that move in Bitcoin, I think the easier trades is that I think gold and silver, the precious metals complex, should pop up on the Monday, and hopefully that'll be good for most of the positions that we're currently holding for MPC. So thank you for listening, and Jonathan Tacadena here from MPC Markets, and happy trading for the Monday. Thank you. Bye.